So firstly, I wanted to thank HOSPA, Jane and the HOSPA team for having us sponsor the event again this year. Always an event FreedomPay really enjoy and participating in, bringing like-minded minds from hospitality and technology together. We always find it a highlight of our calendar year, and delighted to be here again this year. My name is Barry Stern. I'm VP for Global Programs at FreedomPay. FreedomPay are a global omni-channel integrated payments platform incorporated in Philadelphia in the US, and we have our European head office here in Canary Wharf. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, I'm Lawrence Cole, and I'm the Senior Product Manager for Omni Payment in the WorldPay business. So we are one of the biggest acquirers around the world, and we offer different kinds of payment solutions from terminals, online, and different APMs around the globe as well.
So we're going to spend 20 minutes talking to you about mastering localization, driving success in enterprise hotels. Bit of a mouthful, but to break that down for you, essentially, we're going to talk about a unified technology stack and the importance of that in enterprise lodging and hotels, food and beverage, etc. We're going to then change gears a little bit and talk about omnichannel and the prevalence of having a singular view of your customer, irrespective of country, language, currency, or region. And lastly, we're going to talk a little bit about loyalty as well. So if we can hold any questions to the end, we'd appreciate that very much. So starting with unified technology, I think without preaching to the choir, hotels, lodging, food and beverage, stadiums are all highly complex environments from a payments perspective. When we look at the different consumer touch points that are associated with your businesses, they are vast and broad. You have above property online travel agents that are sending reservations into your property. These need to be tokenized from a PCI perspective so that you're not getting clear field PAN data into your environment and therefore opening yourself up to PCI compliance regulation issues. When we talk about on-property, you have your property management system as well as your central reservation systems as well. They ideally need to be integrated and also being able to track your consumer or your cardholder or your loyal guest within your environment through either one of those particular technology stacks. Then you're going to have a kiosk, potentially kiosk check-in for ease of guest experience when they're checking in. So you're kind of reducing efficiencies at your front desk, and you're kind of bringing your guests to an additional check-in experience, which is frictionless. In your food and beverage environment, you're going to have a point of sale there. Typically, that is integrated into a payments piece as well. And then online, you're going to have either an app or an e-commerce asset as well, such as a website where your guests usually start their consumer journey with you. Now, the benefits of having all of these integrated mean that you can have a singular consumer experience, all of your technology items speaking to each other, and that kind of reconciliation and data flow of a consumer identity and data flow is prevalent across all of your technology items. You can see singularly through a single gateway where your customers are, what they're doing, and providing them a consistent payment experience. At a gateway level, obviously your gateway is going to process your payments for you and settle them to your acquiring bank. P2P, there's security and complexity around security and PCI. FreedomPay are a P2PE, point-to-point encrypted validated solution, meaning the highest level of card-present validation from a PCI perspective. And that reduces the burden on you, the hotelier, from different PCI regulations you need to step through. The ability to tokenize your transactions as well as card on file, meaning you can then revisit that consumer, you can charge their cards, you can securely store a token, which is a representation of that consumer, your guest card that's securely stored within your environment. Obviously, fraud is very prevalent, particularly in online. And then you have reporting and analytics on the back end. So what we're saying here is essentially the benefits of having a unified technology stack to help reduce complexity, both from your perspective and from your loyal customers' perspective as well. And on the far right-hand side, we talk about what we call table stakes, really, within lodging, hospitality, and food and beverage. They're the ability to accept all card brands. And this will be particularly prevalent when you are an international business, for example. So you could have Visa, MasterCard, Amex, which are prevalent in your UK business, but when you have a property abroad, other payment brands such as JCB, China Union Pay, etc., should be considered as well. And then we also talk about the data consolidation and reporting and analytics. So if we talk, again, through the lens of localization, if you have a property in France, you need to be conscious of the French payment methods that are traditionally used by domestic French customers, that being carte bancaire. In Germany, there's a card called Girocard, which again, if you're not accepting that at your property, typically it's for domestic German residents that will use that card, so it's prevalent. But if you're an international business, international travelers will tend not to have that requirement for cards as well.
Okay. So thank you, Barry. So coming up next, I'm going to share with you what is omnichannel and how this omnichannel matters to the hospitality industry. So if you look up what omnichannel stands for, you will probably get something like omnichannel means the ability to take payment on multiple touch points, such as what Barry has described it. You could take payments from a face-to-face environment, from your online website, or your mobile app. And omnichannel often involve a consistent and integrated payment experience. Well, it certainly sounds technical, but let me try to put that into context. Basically, omnichannel is trying to be there to help you make more money, make more revenue, and cost saving. Let me try to give you some examples. Since you are able to make take payments from as many channels as possible, such as your face-to-face and also the online website, it actually gives the choice to your customer to choose the most preferable way to make payments to your company. Also, it allows you to make use of these different channels to shape your business and also to achieve different business goals. For example, you can use the different channels, digitalize some of the services such as check-in, traditionally handled by staff, in order to offload some of the work and to offer another choice to your customers. You can choose to upsell some of your services or products at different channels while taking payment at the same time. And also, a omni-channel service that provides a seamless payment experience also means an improvement in service, such as a quicker check-in process. In turn, that will mean less work for your front-end staff and being able to redeploy to something more meaningful to your customers. So in this slide, I'm going to highlight several key aspects that a good omni-channel provider should be able to offer you. Starting from the top left corner, we have a single contract and a single support relationship with you. As Barry has pointed out, payment could be a complicated matter. It involves purchasing terminals, you have to purchase certain services, upgrading softwares, et cetera, et cetera. So it's best to leave all these work to your omni-channel providers while you may focus in running the business. Secondly, the omni-channel provider should be able to support different languages and currencies wherever your hotel is running. The key point is that while you are very familiar with all these things, for tourists, this language, this new currency could be new to them because they're traveling from somewhere else. So being able to make payments in their home currency and their home languages will add another layer of familiarity and peace of mind to them so as to enhance their overall customer journey. Thirdly, your omni-channel provider should support all or most of the payment options that you are supporting. Not only because they will give your customers a better experience, but also give you a holistic view of how your different payment options are serving your customers at your different channels. Fourthly, a consistent and integrated providers. So imagine your customer has just ordered a refund at your front desk, but when he goes back to his room, he can't find it in the mobile app that you offer him. How would he think? He will probably call your front desk again, and you will take another 10 minutes for your front desk to clarify the whole issue for them. So another redundant resources spent while not making anything helpful. So a consistent experience is key to the omni-channel experience. Fifth, the global and consolidated data. So from here, I'm not talking about financial data, but also to give you insight of how the different payment sources are supporting on the different channels. For example, if you're offering DCC to your customers to convert that to their home currency, the data should also be able to tell you why did the customer not accept DCC at that point. Is it for any particular reason? Is it for a technical reason? So as to facilitate you to review your business and continuously making improvement from time to time. And then last but not least, your omni-channel provider should also provide a cross-channel tokenization because, well, to put it into context, tokenization is basically a service to protect your customers' payment credentials after you have collected them. As you are now operating in multiple channels, it's frequently that you will have to move this data across different channels, and being able to safeguard them is key to your customers. And in this slide, I'm going to share with you a few specific functionalities that the omni-channel providers should be able to support in the hotel environment. Starting from the top left, we call it card on file. Basically, it's the ability for you to take in the card information and enable you to make payments when you need. Traditionally, to my understanding, a lot of the hotels will always ask the guests to present a credit card just so they can always have something on hand. But nowadays, a lot more hotels are trying to shift away from this practice so as to produce a more seamless experience to collect this data either through a mobile app, from a kiosk, or different means. So these options should be available there for you to run the business ideal to your plan. Secondly, tokenization, I've already mentioned that is a key to the protecting customer data. But another important aspect of tokenization is that it should allow you to make use of this payment credential when you need. Imagine that someone has already given you the payment credential at check-in, and you're not able to use it as a restaurant. How would your customer tell everyone else about their experience? Thirdly, incremental authorization. Well, this is a bit technical, but this is actually a way for you to process payment that includes several sub-items. So typically from a hotel bills, there will be definitely more than one item. There will be a room rate, there will be maybe a breakfast fees, there will be extra nights, etc. But the key is all these expenses is going to happen at a different point in time. So how do you manage it? Is it going to charge, are you going to charge the card multiple times? Incremental have solved that problem by allowing you to charge the card, having the fund guarantee for you to be paid at the end of the day, while the entire transactions will be shown as one single entry to the customer in the bank statement. So it reduces a lot of the trouble of receiving questions. What is this entry representing? Why do I get a charge and a refund and so on and so forth? Coming up next, I will pass back to Barry to share a bit more about the other functionalities. So
finishing up on this slide, I think everybody's aware of DCC and the benefits of same. So become very prevalent feature functionality in lodging and hotels over the last 10 years. The ability to allow your guests pay in their home currency. So what happens is the payment device will read the chip on the card, will understand that that is issued in a foreign jurisdiction. It will do a rate lookup to the DCC provider and will provide back to the machine an exchange rate in that cardholder's currency where they may feel more comfortable in paying in that. It's also an additional revenue source for hotels as well, as there's typically a markup on the DCC. Lodging data, so the ability again for your payment to recognize that you are in fact in a lodging environment. Typically that will attract a lower interchange rate from your provider as well. And then your property management system, back to technology. So ensuring that you have an integration from your property management system into your payments capacity to allow you to seamlessly drive efficiencies from a payments perspective, kind of marrying a lot of what Lawrence spoke about around tokenization, incremental auth, and card on file as well. We're going to finish up on loyalty. I think we decided to add these slides late on because certainly in Freedom Pay and WorldPay's capacity in the lodging industry, we've noticed, we've recognized, and our studies tell us that loyalty, consumer loyalty, has become intrinsic and nearly blended into the payments journey. With the advent of consumer apps such as Airbnb and Uber Eats, for example, that gives your loyal customers the ability to, by simply logging into their phone, the ability to order food or to book reservations very seamlessly through consumer-facing apps. To help hotels kind of combat that and retain that revenue both from a reservations and a food and beverage perspective, loyalty has become intrinsic. We've called out 4 specific loyalty mechanisms, but we feel that certainly having CardLink Earn, the ability to also allow your guests earn and burn or redeem their loyalty points as currency within your environment against their stay, against their golf, against their spa visit, against their bar bill, breeds loyalty and drives brand and consumer awareness and affection as well. Obviously, on your online journey, you would expect to have those loyalty assets stood up as well. So finally, the key takeaways that we have before hopefully we can field some questions. Number 1 was a consistent technology experience irrespective of channel or market, and by channel we mean online or in-store, in person. We feel that having a consistent and unified technology stack supported by kind of robust integrations allows you to get the best out of your existing technology in your properties by tracking your consumers, presenting them offers, rewards, and discounts when relevant, and ensuring that they remain loyal to your brand. Lawrence, you want to talk about omnichannel?
Yes. So as I mentioned earlier, omni-channel integration to a single platform provider has actually more than one benefits to you. Apart from giving you a holistic view of your services with them, being able to have a synchronized experience across the different payment methods that you're accepting, and many more.
And the last point is just understand your customer's attributes as a loyal customer. Don't present offers, rewards, and discounts to them that don't really match their consumer attributes. So that is really meaningless, and you probably won't see much uptake in kind of non-specific targeted loyalty incentives and rewards. But understanding your customer journey, where do they start their customer journey to become a reserved customer, and how do they and where do they end that journey, and all those consumer touch points along the way. Just having insight and accountability for each one of those steps is invaluable. That's all we had today, folks. So hopefully you found it of benefit. We are both exhibiting, so if any of it was you like further clarification around any of our solutions, please come and look for us. We're just down the back of the presentation area, but happy to take any questions that you might have at this point. Please.
I didn't quite yeah, you can hear me. I didn't quite understand the interface or the interaction between the loyalty and the Freedom Play stack. Are you providing a platform for the existing loyalty scheme to feed through to the customer offers based on the touch points on your platform, or is it working the other way, that it pushes towards the loyalty platform, which then contacts the customer? I didn't understand the dynamic of how that worked.
That's a great question. Thank you. So a real life example is Bonvoy. So Freedom Pay are the points bucket that sits behind Marriott Bonvoy loyalty scheme. We're not the loyalty provider as such, but we do provide the ability for Marriott Bonvoy customers to present their loyalty attributes at the point of sale or in the spa or in the restaurant via a QR code in the app, where they can burn that down against their existing balance of loyalty points. So that does 2 things. It generates revenue within the property, and it also burns down that enormous kind of liability that's sitting out there somewhere in points, right? So it serves 2 purposes. But equally, Freedom Pay have the ability to track a loyalty customer via something called an analytical token. And what we do is we bind consumer attributes, so Barry's Amex, Barry's debit card, Barry's wife's debit card, and we build a holistic view of me as a consumer group, and then we can track whenever one of my personal touch points enters a Freedom Pay environment. We can actually recognize that in real time, look at my past spending behaviors, and we can then present a real-time offer, reward, or a discount to me that is meaningful, not just a buy one, get one free or a 10% off. So Barry... Exactly, yes. So I'd be delighted to kind of dive into that with you further if you would like to come and talk to me later on. Fantastic. Thank you very much for your time, folks.
Thank you.